Good morning, thanks for tuning in. This is Sarah Hall, the Wealthy Optimist. Today I am in beautiful Florence. You can see the backdrop view behind me here. It's actually about to rain, it looks like. There's like thunderclouds brewing. There's also some lightning I can see in the distance. So I'm excited because today I'm actually going to be inside museums. So I'm going to take you guys with me today as I explore some of the most famous museums in Italy. My first stop is the Uffizi Museum, which is the most famous museum in all of Italy. It's also the single most visited museum in all of Italy, and it's also the most well known around the world for its vast collection of priceless Italian Renaissance art. Now, if you don't know who the Medicis are very, very famous historical kings and queens. Catherine de Medici was actually, I love this, her character. She's not a character, she's a real person. But I love who she was. She was this incredibly fierce, strong, amazing queen of France, who was actually from Florence, of the Medicis. And the Medici family was really well known for being enthusiastic art collectors. And the majority of their priceless art collection end up here in the Uffizi Museum. Now, this museum was never actually intended to be built as a museum. It was constructed to be office buildings, and it was transformed into a museum later on. And the word Uffizi actually means offices. So it's essentially called the Office Museum. And now the vast hallways of this museum are organized in as best chronological order as possible so that you can view the art starting from oldest to newest in chronological order, which is really cool. And it actually now brings in more than 10,000 people a day. So you can imagine that it's a very, very busy museum. It's open from, I think, around 9 a.m. until about 6 or 7 p.m. So you have lots of time to check it out. It costs about 20 euros to go in, and there are discounted prices for students and seniors and children as well. And I've also heard that you can visit the National Archaeological Museum for the same price, like the price of 2 for 1. So that's very exciting, and today I plan on also going to the National Archaeological Museum as well, which is a very famous museum for Egyptian and Roman artifacts from many centuries ago. So if you know me, you know how much I love ancient civilizations, so I'm really excited to go and explore and see what they have inside the National Archaeological Museum. Wow, I just saw the biggest lightning strike, so I should probably get a move on so that I'm in cover right now. Alright, we made it to the museum, Uffizi. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Seriously, I need major Italian lessons if I'm going to actually move here eventually. Now we just have to find our way inside. There was so much rain, it was complete mayhem. I was actually hiding undercover with another lady for probably around like 35 minutes. So, yes. People always either try to jump into the videos or just yell random things. So anyways, I was hiding probably for like 35 minutes with a lady undercover, and both of us got completely soaked. So now I'm gonna find quick coffee and then we're gonna go inside the museum. I don't know if I'm gonna be allowed to film inside the museum, so we'll have to see. And so I was actually starving, so before I actually go into the museum, I decided to grab a really quick little snack. So I just stopped by a pizzeria and grabbed a sliced pizza and a macchiato, which is a very weird combination, but that's what I wanted, so. Alright, so I'm in the museum now. It costs 20 euros to get in, and then you see this museum for one day. And so come earlier in the day if you want to spend a lot of time here. I'm gonna have like 4 hours here, and then you can go to the National Archaeological Museum for 3 days with the same ticket. So don't lose your ticket. And then you can split it up over a couple days, which is what I'm actually gonna do because I don't have time after that big rainstorm and everything to actually go to both museums. So. And so far they haven't said anything about filming or not filming, so I'm gonna film until we get cat. Wow. So it says that Franz Koenig actually dreamed of being a horse, and he fantasized about it a lot. So that's why all of these horses copulating and centaurs copulating are like his erotic fantasies. It's really interesting how it comes out in art. Fritz Koenig had a Slight obsession with centaurs and horses mating. There's like hundreds of sculptures and pictures of horses mating. That one looks like a person and a horse. Ugh. So you can see behind me the eye votive right there, which actually was inspired by Fritz having a temporary eye problem, and he was inspired to make that, which he later recreated the sphere, which was located outside of the World Trade Center, which actually survived the attacks on September 11th, which is pretty unreal. And now that piece of art is a symbol of survival for New York and the world. It's really fascinating. He also beat out another artist named Henry Moore for the commission of that sculpture that was in front of the World Trade Center, and it was there for 29 years before the attacks on September 11th. It was a very big, well-known piece in New York, and people actually met outside there, sat outside of it for 29 years. Okay, conspiracy theory. Doesn't this look like the Twin Towers crashing down? But he made it in 1994. So, prediction? I don't know. Sensuality and death seem to be a lot of the main themes in Fritz's artwork, and he did do a lot of stuff about the Holocaust and Adolf Hitler and Job, and he really thought about those things on his mind for like 35 years of work. You can see some things that he did in 1964, and then some things that he did as recently as 1997, all depicting similar thought pattern, and you can really feel his connection to these tragic historical events. And it's almost chilling to see some of them, because it just takes you to that mindset and that place where you can feel what he was feeling, and just imagine that haunting you for so many years, or in the situation of survivors, haunting them in their entire lives. It's beautiful work. That's me waiting for my proposal from my boyfriend, like, forever. She's like, where's the ring? Oh good, you finally decided to. So I'm in the East Corridor, which as of 1589 had started collecting all of the Medici family's statues and busts, and there are over 100 statues from the Medici family personal collection, as well as over 140 busts as well. And I also just read something that's really interesting, that most of the statues in here are actually replicas or recreations, or things that have been restored, because the condition of them in the 16th century was so bad that during the 16th and 17th century, a lot of the artists at that time actually replicated the designs from ancient Roman and ancient Greek busts and statues. So a lot of the stuff that we see in here is actually reconstructed, but it's still very, very, very old, and it's fascinating to know that, because I didn't actually know that, so very cool. That's the most interesting part so far. Maybe they're artists. Definitely makes a statement. These are some beautiful pieces of work by Alessandro Filippi. She's wearing armor underneath her gown. It just, I don't know, I just love it so much. She's like secretly fierce. In this painting behind me called Spring by Alessandro Filippi or Botticelli, there are 138 types of plants that have been identified inside the picture, which is so intricate, and they haven't ever figured out exactly what the painting is about, but it's clearly like a celebration of love, vitality. There's even some death in there with one of the kind of scary demon guys coming in on the side. It's really beautiful. I was staring at it for a long time, and there's so much to see and so much to look at. It's so intricate. And it actually was in Lorenzo the Magnificent's cousin's castle for a long time in the 15th century. This is so cool. I love it here. And this is, of course, the famous Birth of Venus by Botticelli. This was hanging in the Medici Villa Castle in 1550, and this is a really beautiful painting. It's just exquisite. I think this is one of my favorite paintings here. Well, the king here is King Midas, and he's being counseled very poorly by suspicion and ignorance, okay? And then he's preparing to give judgment to the victim, who is slander here. And he's being dragged by the hair by calumny and accompanied by fraud. Okay, so there who's dragging him to his judgment. And then they're also accompanied by deception and spite. And then on the left is Repentance, who's looking, that's Repentance here, and she's looking up at the truth, okay, who's naked because she's the truth, and she's raising her eyes up to heaven. And there's just so much happening in this. It's amazing to just look at and admire. Like, I wish I could have this in my house. I'm sure that I could get a copy of it or something. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It just describes like human depravity and what we're led by and the choices that we make. And Midas just had so much bad counsel in this. Behind me is room number 8, the Tribunal. You can't actually go inside this room, but you have to stand and look at everything from outside. It's really incredible what's inside here. It's just so beautiful. These are some of the most prized and expensive pieces, although everything in this museum is priceless. The Tribunal was commissioned by the Grand Duke Francesco I in the 1500s, and it was made like to his very eclectic taste. So there's actually over 6,000 shells that are line the dome of the roof, and the furnishings have changed over the years, ever since the room was first commissioned. So, but they only ever put the most celebrated of paintings and artists' work inside of this room. So it's really something to see. And you can see the dome with over 6,000 shells, the entire roof, just everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. And they first brought statues into this room. At first it was only paintings on the wall. They first brought statues into the room in the 1600s and 1700s. And the architect who was commissioned to design this room was Bernardo Botticelli. I hope I'm saying that right. But he really went for it, and this room is something else. Wow. These are by Raffaello Sanzio. here, this is the only oil painting that is ever to be found by Michelangelo. It was commissioned in 1507. Showing St. John the Baptist with the baby Christ and the Madonna. And that's it for my tour of Uffizi, so that you can see that. I'm going to go to the Natural Archaeological Museum tomorrow, so if you want to see that video, then I will link it here so that you can actually click it and check it out. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that when you're in Florence you get a chance to actually spend a few hours and really, you know, explore this rich history of art that they have here in all of these incredible museums here in Florence. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn the little bell notifications on, because otherwise YouTube doesn't let you know when I make new videos. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye! And that's it for my video today, showing you the beautiful Uffizi Museum here in Florence. I'm now at Point Vecchi. It's really beautiful. The sun's actually setting right here and it just looks so pretty. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you want to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate every single one of your subscriptions. And make sure that when you subscribe, you do turn the little bell notification on. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't like to let you know when I post new videos. And I will see you guys following along with my series about Florence here while I'm here for the next month. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao! It's also really important to kind of slow down and take it easy. I just watched the sunset just sitting here on the bridge, and it's so beautiful. And you know, it takes like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes for the sun to kind of fully go down. And I see so many people that are just like rushing by, taking like really quick picture and then like running on their way. And to just kind of like stop and relax and be in that space of like the present time is so nice, and it's so beautiful. And like the view I'm going to show you obviously is amazing, and it's just, I'm so grateful to be here. It's so beautiful. It's all about becoming more mindful so you can really, you know, appreciate and be grateful for where you are and what's happening in your life. And I'm all about that. It's so important to just give yourself time and peace and relax, as well as, you know, we're always so busy accomplishing goals and wanting success and go, do, and see, you know, and we sometimes forget that we need to take that time to give ourselves like a mental break and just relax and just be present. And this has been a really beautiful way to end the day. Really beautiful.
Thank you, my boy. Oh wow. No. You get that picture of the sun.